Good morning. It is 9:05 on a Thursday morning. Very excited. We're going to be having some fun today as we have Colton. He's a business coach. He's back in studio. And here's something unique that we're going to be doing. It's an opportunity for you to ask questions live on this Facebook stream. If you are a business owner, if you are an entrepreneur, if you know somebody who is, if there's somebody on your Facebook timeline that can benefit from this, share it out. Hit the share button. Go ahead and tag them in this. Tag your favorite business. Tag, a local business that is doing some really cool things. Maybe you think that they are doing great, but guess what? You can always learn. You should always be pursuing knowledge and see how you can get to that next step, get to that next level, get to where you need to hire one employee. Anytime that you kind of make a move in business, a new set of issues come with that. So whenever you have that opportunity to ask an expert, especially right now for free, just to hang out and ask these questions, whatever comes to mind, this is an opportunity you need to take advantage of. I have Mr. Colton Trout here in studio, and we're going to be talking about all this stuff. Hey, Colton, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm excited to be here this morning.
Today's the day, right?
Today is the day. Yo, we are going to get pumped.
I know. It's going to be a good time. Yeah. Again, we got Colton here hanging out, and we're going to be learning about everything that it takes to be successful in business. And business is tricky. I feel like it's probably one of the hardest and most, gratifying things, like business, being successful, right?
Yeah. Well, and success obviously is relative to the individual and where they want that success to be and what they want that success to look like. But, when you start reaching your success and you start crushing your goals a little bit more consistently, it is extremely gratifying. Mm-hmm. I mean, the impact that you're creating, the changes that you're making, the products that you're producing, the people's lives that you're changing and impacting and influencing, it's really gratifying and it's a ton of fun. You start to wake up more and more often just pumped and ready to go into the office versus waking up and be like, oh, I got to go to work.
Yeah, I got to go to work. And that's never a good feeling. So if you have that feeling, maybe it's time to adjust.
Yeah.
And that can be different for a lot of people. Maybe finding a new career.
Yeah.
Starting a side hustle, starting a business, and throwing it all out on the line.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's funny when I have clients that start getting that way as we're kind of going through the process to double their business. I kind of remind them on where we're going and what they're doing, and then I tell them it's time to speed things up. Because if you're getting that, I don't want to go into work today, it's probably because it's not fun, it's not enjoyable, there's no passion inside of it, which means that it's time to speed something up and to create a pretty big change. So.
Yeah. So that change, it looks different for everybody, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely it does. So, I mean, from the business owner to the employee to somebody that's wanting to start a business, somebody that wants to grow their business to 6 figures, somebody that wants to grow their business to the 7 and 8 figure mark. Change is going to look different at each stage in your business life and then in your personal life as well. So, I just did a podcast where I interviewed a guy who built an 8-figure business in 5 years.
Okay, 8 figures. I had to count, and I had to do
8 figures. That's a lot of zeros.
The
That's
tens, the hundreds, the thousands.
Yeah.
I was doing a math problem with my son, so he's in second grade the other day, and I was like,
awesome.
It's like, which place is it in? 10s, 100. I was like, okay, 10. I know 6 figures. I can think 7. Okay, 8 figures.
8 figures in 5 years, going from absolutely nothing, not much business background, to starting a business and then building it to an 8-figure mark. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, to me that seems like unattainable. That seems like tens of millions of dollars in 5 years.
Yeah.
But how realistic is that for?
It's actually pretty easy.
Is it?
So it's funny. I'm actually bringing on a client right now where she is right there about 8 figures in revenue, but we want to build that up to multiple 8 figures. And so it's just laying down the specific structures and processes that your business specifically needs in order to grow up, to scale up, to speed up, to bring on the amount of business that you really want to bring on. She's already doing a phenomenal amount in her business, and it's just going to take a few tweaks that we're going to be able to create that are going to allow her to go to the level that she really wants it to be at.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so we have a little bit of time, and then we're going to go ahead and switch it on the FM, and we'll keep it going as we are chatting about business, being an entrepreneur. Maybe, business, it looks different. It's different in every situation. I have a friend who I met just recently, and they're opening up a restaurant.
Yeah.
So in the restaurant business, that looks different than if you are producing, a clothing line or you are
Yes.
a videographer, photographer.
Yes.
But either way, I think that the goal is I need clients. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to get. So a restaurant, I need people in my door.
Yeah.
Or like if you're a photographer for weddings, hey, I need something to shoot. Like what is the best way to go about getting clients? And we can go ahead and switch on the FM, and I'm going to get you reintroduced, and then we'll just jump in.
Okay,
Sound
cool.
good?
Yeah.
Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it is 9:10 a.m. on a Thursday morning. I got Colton Trout, business coach, in studio. We're going to be learning. We're going to be having opportunities for you to ask questions. Right now we are streaming live on Facebook. If you are not following KHEA Radio on Facebook, do yourself a favor. Do everybody a favor. Do me a favor and go and like KHEA Radio. Open up your Facebook app. Search KHEA. We'll pop right up. You'll see our little tower on there. Today's the day to live free, and we got Mr. Colton Trout. My name's Gardy, and we're going to be learning about business.
Yes.
So here's the thing. Whenever I talk to entrepreneurs, whenever I talk to business owners, the thing that they always are trying to get is people in the door. I need customers. If you're a restaurant, I need someone sitting at the table ordering food, or else I'm just cooking and I'm paying rent. You got to have customers, photographers. They need someone to take photos of.
Yeah.
How do you get customers?
So it goes down to a few different things. One of the biggest areas that I like to work with my clients on is the awareness of, one, who is their clientele, who is their niche market. Even restaurants have a niche market. Like, who is your perfect client? Really identifying that, and then that's going to allow you to create a marketing strategy to actually go out and reach those people. I see a lot of business owners who try and do not necessarily old-fashioned ways, but they're not present on social media, which is one of the number one free ways to go reach your perfect clientele and to bring in more customers. But I see far too many business owners kind of treating it kind of like a hobby, posting every once in a while, maybe doing something to go bring in income from their social media, but they don't treat their social media the proper way that they need to in order to go bring in those clienteles, or to bring in that revenue, or to bring in that client, whatever it may look like. So if you can create awareness of who your perfect client is, and then they'll tell you exactly how to go reach them. I mean, if you're trying to look for millennials, they will tell you exactly how to bring them in, how to sell them, how to get them to buy more, how to get them to stay longer. I mean, they'll tell you specifically, but you'll never be able to answer those questions if you don't know who specifically it is that you're serving.
So are you suggesting doing like focus groups and just like straight up asking, like, hey, find someone that apparently that's my client. That's the people that's coming in the store. What do you want? What are we missing? What can we do? And then asking over and over.
So that can be one way that you do it. You can also do it through market analysis or market research, or even just going to Google, right? And then looking up, like, if your target market is millennials, looking up what do millennials want right now. And then it'll probably give you a list of topics of what they want. If you see a millennial come into your shop or purchase one of your products, you can create a survey and say, hey, we'd love any and all feedback. We'll give you this for free if you fill out this survey. Right? And then it's offering a little bit of value for value in return. And then that will help you be able to kind of create that marketing strategy. But with the best way to start a marketing strategy, even if you don't know who those people are, or if you're trying to reach some people to figure out who is your market, social media is still going to be your best bet because, one, it's free. I think it was like 2.1 billion people are on Facebook on any given day. I mean, there's an insane amount of people. If you're struggling with clients, it's not because your business sucks. It's because your marketing sucks. And you need to go out there and raise more awareness for who you are and what it is that you're doing.
So here's a question, and it says, I have a sporting goods small store. What is the best way to market? I have Facebook, Instagram, even groups in Facebook.
Perfect. So my question to that would be, is what is your main focus? Is it Facebook or Instagram? You need to pick one or the other. You also need to look at, okay, so if you're in sports, where are your people in your general geological area? Are they more on Facebook or are they more on Instagram? And that'll kind of help you understand that as well. I personally like Facebook a little bit more because, like you said, you have a Facebook group and you have a Facebook page, which I think is phenomenal. going onto your Facebook group, onto your Facebook page and leading people into your group as a lead generator source is going to be a phenomenal kind of process to take people through. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to ask yourself the question, what is the process that you're taking your potential clients through? Where do you want them to start? What do you want them to see first? What do you want them to do next? What do you want them to do after that? What do you want them to do once they're ready to join your group? What does that look like? Okay, once they're in your group, what does that look like? Are they engaging on posts? Do you have consistent posts? Do you have consistent lives that you're doing on there? Or are you just getting on there and trying to sell? There's a point in time to sell, obviously, but within Facebook communities, within Facebook groups, which Facebook is actually moving heavily towards, you have to be offering more value than just sales. You need to be showing them how to use the equipment, talking about the equipment. I mean, getting super excited and passionate about the equipment that you have within your little store and sharing that with your group, specifically through Facebook Lives. Do as many Facebook Lives as you possibly can, because that's going to be able to create the rapport within your potential clients, within your geological area. So then they get to know you, they get to like you, and then they're going to want to buy from you, but not just once. They're going to want to buy again and again and again and again because they like and respect you so much.
Yeah, thinking of a sporting goods store, the people that are going in there, it's probably a little bit all over, but mainly I'm thinking parents, like mom, taking their son, their daughter, hey, we got to buy some cleats. We got to buy, soccer stuff. And just, so you got to hit them, I guess, because they're the ones who are buying the gear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if that's your target market, then finding out what time are they on social media. That's a huge thing. I just did a Facebook audit for a friend of mine who's trying to grow their page. And the number one thing that I saw was they were not posting consistently when their market was on Facebook. Like for me personally, my perfect times to post on my social media is 5 a.m., 9 a.m., 12, and then between 6 to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Those are my perfect times to go post on social media. That's not the typical generic kind of times to go post, but for me and my market, my target client, those are the perfect times for me to go posting. So figuring out when is the perfect time for you to go post and when your market is on social media can also be pretty big. So
here's another thought. So, a sporting goods store, hey, I need to go get shoes.
Yeah.
Man, I need to go get a bat. Okay, I'm going there. Or, now there's other businesses, and I see my friend Christina, her and her husband, they own Tink's Towing, right here in Texas City. And then yesterday we had Hospitality Health ER out in Galveston. Now, those two businesses are a little bit different because you don't know you're going to need them. Like, oh, man, I need to go to the ER. Oh, or I need to go to the I need to get towed. I broke down, and then it's just a matter of what do I do?
Yeah.
But I think what's the secret of creating, I guess, like letting people know, like, that's who I'm using. Hey, oh my gosh, I broke my arm. I'm going to Hospitality Health ER. I'm calling Tink's Towing.
Yeah. It's going to come down to if they know you and they like you. That's really what it comes down to. The reason that my clients sign up with me as a business coach versus the thousands of other business coaches that are out there is because they like and trust me more than they like and trust the other business coaches. And so that's one of the biggest things is if you can create some form of marketing, Facebook Live, Facebook post, or even just a campaign, either whether it's mailables or it's an ad that you're running that can create that rapport where people will get to know and like you on a business and personal level, that's going to just create that click and that link. So when they think of XYZ, they're going to think of you versus thinking of somebody different.
Yeah, Christina and her husband, they just went out to East Texas and they took a bunch of water. This was like last week. And I saw that they, just on a personal Instagram, posting a picture like, hey, if anybody wants to donate, just doing a good thing. And I was like, I'm sharing that.
Yeah.
Because that's awesome. And so the people see that and realize, man, it kind of sticks in the back of their head and they're just being good people, but that's almost a way that can kind of get you brand awareness.
Yeah. No, it's actually really kind of funny that you said that. Oh, that's awesome. That is actually one of the key components of making something go viral is that awe emotion. So if you want something to blow up on social media, you want a post or marketing ad, if you can create that awe emotion, you're going to be pretty pretty well on track.
All right.
So
Okay, here's another question. This is from Maria. She said, how do you find out when your market is online?
So that's a great question. One of the best ways to do is to go to your personal page. On the messenger side, it's going to tell you how many of your friends are active on Facebook. From that, you can kind of do a little bit of analysis and figure out, okay, how many of those are my target clients? And then what you just want to do is, as you're getting started, about 10 times a day at 10 different times, go onto Facebook, look on your personal page, and look at how many people are active on Facebook right now.
I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe this morning show is a little bit too early, and I get to sleep in from now on, and it's like, hey, 11:30 to 12, and then we're good to go.
Yep. So for you, you're going to want to go to your messenger if you're going on your phone.
Okay.
And then, so right now, I have 445 people active right now on Facebook.
Mine says 149. Is that the middle number?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So you have 149 of your personal friends that are on Facebook right now.
Okay.
When I go online at 5 a.m. for me, it's about 600 to 700 people that are active online.
Really?
So, yeah.
How many friends do you have on there?
Almost 5,000.
Okay, cool.
So,
I was like, what are my friends doing?
Amount of people.
Y'all should be watching KHEA radio.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Support this.
I know, right? So, but yeah, it's one of those things.
Well,
but
cool.
A lot of my friends that are on Facebook are international, which is why 5 a.m. works so well.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's another comment. This is from Chris, and I have to read. He said, "Hey, partnering with KHEA Radio is also a good way to get your business out there." You know what? I'm going to have to agree with you, Chris. Thank you.
Shout out to agree with them as well.
Santa Fe Water Services. Shout out to Chris and everything that he does. He's also a volunteer firefighter and does some cool things.
Yeah.
So shout out to Chris. Let's see. Right now it's 9:21. We're talking to Colton Trout. If you have any business questions, if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you have a business, you're thinking about starting one, I think that there's going to be a lot of, and I think it's funny to say this, but like nuggets. Yes. Somebody told me that, that was a nugget. There's a nugget. There's this gold falling everywhere.
I think we talked about that last time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Take out a pen. And you're going to be writing down nothing but gold nuggets.
Yes. Yeah. And for those of you that are watching too right now on the live squad, make sure to put in the comment section #live squad. And if you're watching the replay, make sure to put #replay squad. I'd love to see who's watching live and who's watching on the replay.
Okay. Here's another question. Can you also speak on the Instagram algorithm?
Yeah. So Instagram is interesting because Instagram is consistently changing their algorithm just like Facebook is. A couple of things that I have found to battle that consistent change is finding times that you can post consistently. Like every day you post at 9 a.m. or every day you post at 10 p.m., whatever it may be, but you post consistently. If you can post about twice a day or at least once a day, that's going to help battle that algorithm. The hashtags are still pretty big on Instagram. You're going to want to find hashtags that are anywhere between 100,000 to 500,000 posts have that hashtag, because that means more people are looking for it. So there's actually a market. People are looking for those hashtags. People are watching those hashtags, but there's already posts that are out there. But there's not, like, if you look up motivational quotes, it's over 20 million posts have been made with the hashtag motivational quotes. Which means
is that too many though?
Oh, that's an insane. Oh, that's
a lot.
Insane amount. So if you go use the hashtag motivational quotes, you're competing with 20 million posts.
You get lost.
Exactly. You get completely lost. So if you use a hashtag that's got like 100,000, 500,000, it's more likely that you're going to be found, but you do have the potential to be found. If you use, I was working with a guy who does music lessons, right? And I said, if you use music teacher, there's, I think it was like 100,000 or 250,000, something like that. If you use music instructor, there's like 4,000 posts.
Okay.
So it's just that slight difference that allows you to go reach a potential higher range of people. But Instagram as well is moving over to the live generation. So if you can do a consistent amount of Instagram lives, you'll also boost your engagement on there as well. So stories are also huge. Taking posts and posting them up on stories, and then posting your stories continuously. Don't ever let your stories go to where there's not a story active on your Instagram.
You want
page.
something there.
You have to have something there, especially if you're a business page, because that tells Instagram that you're using their platform, which means that they're going to boost it more. Right now, I've got about 1,300 followers on Instagram. It's not much. I don't use it very often, but I have a continuous stream of people going through my my stories and I'm getting 500-600 views on my stories. Normally, when somebody has a 1,300 page, they're getting maybe 100 people viewing their story. But because I've consistently kept up with it so much, I'm getting 500 to 600 views on my stories.
Can you hashtag on stories, on Instagram stories, and does that do anything?
Yeah. So you can use a hashtag. You can only use one, which I don't personally agree with. I think they should allow us to use more.
Yeah.
But you can use one hashtag on there, and then you can tag the location, which actually produces the capability of it to actually reach more people. Which is cool. So.
You know, that's interesting about hashtags because I've hashtagged stuff before, and I almost felt like weird about it just because I'm like, oh, man, it looks kind of lame if I'm hashtagging something. Yeah. But then I got over that, right? Yeah. You almost have to get over that, especially in business. And then I wanted to hashtag, hey, this has 5 million, Insta love or like Insta, just like Instagram. If you like hashtag Instagram, it's like, 10 million people use this. Yes. I'm going to use this. Maybe 10 million people may see my stuff. They posted it too.
On your stories, it's a little bit different. So if you use that hashtag, that's phenomenal because you may actually get more views.
Okay.
When it comes to your actual post, your post gets lost.
So you want to find that sweet spot. And what's that sweet spot again?
It's anywhere between 100,000 to 500,000 as far as posts that have been paid. And people will tell you different things. For me, that's been my sweet spot. That's where I've found the most success. Some people will say 50,000 to 250,000. But it really just kind of goes down.
Here's another question. What's your Instagram, Colton? How can somebody follow you on Insta?
Yeah, so if you look up TTDTLF, you'll be able to find me. And I can actually go put this right here in that comment.
And I'll tell you what it stands for. Today's the day to live free.
Yes.
Today's the day to live free. Can you share, what does that mean? If we chant it over and over again, I think I might accidentally get hype.
Well, no, it's really kind of funny. That's one of the things, like, if I give a speech or if I'm speaking in a smaller group, I'll have them say, okay, I'm going to say today's the day, or today's the, and you fill in the day portion of it. So I go, today's the, and
day.
Today's the
day.
And then we do that, like, a lot of times whenever it just hypes people up. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I'm feeling it,
Yeah. So ask that question one more time, sorry.
So what does today's the day to live free? What does that mean to you, and can it mean something different to everybody else?
Absolutely, it can mean something to everybody else. One freedom is going to look completely different from one person to the next. For me, as I go throughout my business coaching, as I go throughout my businesses, I've always wanted to live a quote-unquote freedom lifestyle where I get to go into work when I want to go into work. I get to leave work when I want to leave work. I get to make the income that I want to make. And to me, that's freedom. That allows me to travel where I want to go travel, to speak at the events that I want to go speak at, to write a book. If I want to take a week to write a book, I can cancel everything and just go write that book.
Is that in the future? You got plans to write?
I'm in the process of writing a book, rewriting a book. I wrote a book once, and then I didn't like how it turned out, and the end message that the journey that it was taking everybody through. So it's like, okay, I'm going to rewrite this.
Was it a coaching book?
Yes.
Or straight up story? Okay.
Well, so it's a coaching book. So it's the adventure of change, kind of telling the story of the Today's the Day movement, where it came from, why it started, how to live a Today's the Day lifestyle, how to implement some simple processes and systems to go double and scale up your business a little bit faster. So.
Okay. So I have a friend, and they've been mentioning closing whenever it comes to, I guess, being in sales, selling yourself. Yeah. Let's say, like a photographer. Yeah. You introduce someone, you don't want to be pushy. Yeah. But asking for, in photography can be a lot. Hey, $500,000, $10,000. It depends on what it is. Yeah. $20,000. Getting to that close. What's the secret of the close?
So that's going to go down to the individual, the industry, all of that. I am never uncomfortable asking for a close, asking for a commitment to move forward.
Right.
And it comes down to how confident I am in my processes and systems and my coaching, that I know the value that I'm asking for is pennies compared to what I could be asking for, and is pennies compared to the impact that it's going to create the long term. So my job as a sales guy, and all of us are salespeople, whether you think so or not. If you're in business, you're a salesman, you're a marketer.
Selling something.
Exactly, you're selling something. And so you need to get extremely confident in the products or services that you're offering out, and then understanding the price point of it and how little that price point really is. I used to think that my prices were insane and they were super high and nobody was going to pay them, which led me to not bringing in many people, not bringing in many clients, because I undervalued what my value actually was. So when I started to understand the real value that my coaching had with people, I started becoming way more confident in my prices, and actually even raised my prices. And it's become way easier for people to sign on and for me to ask that close. And I'm getting those closes left and right.
Yeah.
And then I'm having people reach out to me, and I'm not even having to close. They were like, I don't care how much it costs. Like, I need your advice. Like, I want to hire you. And it was like, just tell me how much I need to write a check for. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Hey, how important is it to look at competitive pricing? Like, okay, this is maybe if I have competition, this is who it is, this is what it is. Do you look at that, and how do you adjust yours?
That goes down to like your cost analysis as well. So, and a part of the cost analysis is looking what is the market doing. For my particular coaching, I'm very competitive within the costs of what my fellow coaches are doing. For my other businesses that I own, they're very competitive as well. So it is important to look around, and like if you have a shop that's like 2 miles down the road and they do the same thing that you're doing and your prices are 10 times higher than theirs, obviously that's going to be an issue. But you also have to look at your cost analysis and how much do your supplies cost? How much do your time, your energy, how much does all of that cost? And then you still need to have a healthy profit margin.
Okay.
So if that means that you're 10 times higher price-wise than the person 2 miles down the road, then that's what you need to be at. But you need to market it as a higher end, higher product kind of market. And you're looking for a different niche market than they are.
Yeah.
You're looking for a little bit lower of a niche market, and you're looking a little bit more of a higher end kind of niche market.
And then it has to live up to the quality of that as well.
Exactly. And then you're not even competing with them anymore. So once you move out of their niche market and you have your own niche market, you're no longer competing with that shop that's 2 miles down the road. Right? You're competing for your niche market. And there may be people in that niche market as well, but you have to just watch it.
Yeah. So, what about healthy and unhealthy competition as far as a business owner? I feel like, obsessive people in business, goals, creating competition that's not even there. I don't know if it's healthy or not, but it may lead to success.
So competition is extremely healthy, in my opinion, depending on where it's coming from and why it's being brought on. If you can have a healthy and unhealthy level of competition, but like I said, it goes back to the reasoning why you're having that competition. If it's to be the leader and be like, oh, I beat you, ha ha ha, look at me, then that's really an unhealthy kind of form of competition. But if you're having a competition to have fun and to either boost your products in the process, and that's a byproduct of it, then go for it, go do it. One of the things that I work with my clients is actually creating competition, actually creating challenges within their business that forces them to level up. Competition within a team is massive. People love competition. They love to win. There's only one number one. And so if you can reach that number one, people will fight for it. So
cool. Here's another question. What would you recommend using, a credit card company or go with like a PayPal app or something like that to accept payments? Are there pros and cons? So
that's going to go down to the size of the business. If you're a smaller business and you can handle like the apps, use the apps. A lot of them are free or have a very minimal
surcharge or something?
Yeah, surcharge. If you're a bigger business, you're going to want to go through one of those companies because they're going to allow you to do more and to reach your audience a little bit easier. Like if you own a shop and you're using Cash App to take payments or Venmo, then it's going to be really difficult for everybody that comes in and wants to pay through card. It's either going to have to go sign up for one of those apps, or it's just going to be difficult to go do that.
Yeah.
So versus if you have like Square, where you can just swipe a card, and I'm not saying Square is the best one. There are a couple others that are a little bit better depending on the bank that you're using, but it still goes down to what's your capacity. For one of the businesses that I own, it's not in a physical location yet. So I use more apps than I do actual companies. And then there's still some orders that I send through a company because it's just easier for me to do that. It just goes depending on the size of the company.
I think it also depends on your clientele too.
Yeah.
Like how do they carry money?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. If you're using a younger demographic, then an app probably is no problem. They probably already have it on their phone. They probably use it 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
If it's an older generation, they're going to look at you sideways and funny and say, oh, what now? Yeah. It's like I have my debit card, now I have cash. Anything other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. I've had, there was a gentleman that I was making a transaction too. And I was like, well, I can PayPal you money. He's like, I don't have PayPal. I'm like, why not? He's like, you got Venmo? I was like, no, I don't got Venmo. You know, and I'm 33. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed the cutoff. I was like 5 or 6 years younger. Maybe I haven't. But I ended up getting Cash App. And then it's just interesting. Like, the verification, 2 days, this and that. And so we ended up figuring it out with Apple Pay, which that worked good too.
Yep, Apple Pay works.
Yeah. So, it depends on that clientele.
And Facebook Pay. Y'all, if y'all are a small business and you haven't ever used Facebook Pay, it's free. And it is so easy. So, I love Facebook Pay.
Hey, Facebook, we're giving you a shout-out.
Yeah,
Boost our numbers here. Get that algorithm going. Thank you, Mr. Zuckerberg. This is 99.5 FM, KHEA We are streaming live on Facebook. Colton, how can somebody find you in Today's the Day to Live Free on Facebook?
So you can look up my name, either Colton Trout, or you can look up, once again, the hashtag TTDTLF. So you can pretty much find me on any social media platform using that. Because I use that hashtag as well. So if you look up the hashtag, my posts are going to be the only ones that come up, other than a few clients and a few other people that have used the hashtag.
And mine, because I'm going to start using it today.
Yes, please use it. Yeah, no. I want more people using it. It's not like a trademarked kind of thing. Like, please go use that hashtag.
It's like, why is this guy? Cool. He says his name is Gordy.
Yeah.
He keeps popping up on my Colton stuff. So, hey, here's another comment. This is from Natasha, and she's a photographer. She said, or they want to write a check, just talking about the clientele.
Yeah.
It's funny. Everybody used to write checks.
Yeah.
My parents, I remember being a kid and at the grocery store, HEB, wherever.
Yeah.
Mom's writing a check. But you have to keep up with the times, I feel like, as a business. And, still being able to take a check. A bank account, you can do it.
The checks are just difficult because you don't know if they're going to clear or not.
That's true, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like a piece of paper. It's like you trust, like a piece of, like, I'm going to, I could give you one of my, like, sticky pad notes.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same thing. It's nothing.
Exactly. So, and so that's one of those things. Like, if you're working in a higher market, like a higher end market, and they want to use a check, and you're comfortable taking a check because you trust this client, or you have rapport with this client, go for it. If you're a brand new business and you don't know the client so well, taking a check is kind of iffy. Once again, that's going to go down to kind of personal preference, but it's going to go down to, like I said, personal preference.
Yeah.
Whether you want to take a check or not. Personally, I don't, unless I really trust the individual. But all of my majority of my clients are online and international, so we don't have the option of.
Okay, good. I was gonna write you a check on my sticky pad checkbook here, and I'm like,
we can make it out to
$1
$1 million.
Okay, well,
8 figures, please.
8 figures. Don't cash this till Friday.
Yeah. Of like 30 years from now.
Maybe another 30 on there as well.
30,
hey, so I was asking people like, hey, who owns a business? And so we got our friend Jordan on here. He owns ET Lockouts, and they use Square is what he mentioned. So ET Lockouts, they do, if you lock your keys in your car, hey, 24 hours a day, let's go. I'll get you in the car.
Yeah.
And so I've seen some of the posts that they've pushed out.
Yeah.
Kind of, branding them, and they've been able to get into like, hey, I'm not going to say the name. There's a business out there. Yeah. They can't get into the car for whatever reason. Guess what? We just got in and out 5 minutes. They're on their way.
Yeah.
What's the best way, to market if you are? I mean, they have a pretty good social media presence on Facebook, but you can always do something else.
Yeah. So that's going to kind of go down to really getting to know that clientele and who's using your services, and then just making it fun, like. That sounds to me like, and I'm thinking of so many different marketing ideas for that company in general. That can be some really fun marketing. I think you can come up with some really funny either skits or videos or types of marketing where it just becomes funny and it starts going viral and people really remember that.
I got you.
So yeah, just have some fun with it. Like, don't be afraid, especially in marketing, like to be funny or to have something that's a little bit more fun and less salesy and it's just more personalized than anything. So
yeah, for them, they've kind of marketed around. He has like a Jeep, and it's a really cool Jeep, but they have the logo on the side. It's branded, driving around in it, and that's kind of what they've been pushing out. But it's a cool thing, and I think it's working for them. Here's another question. This is from Chris. He said, another question: what if your product isn't a necessity, but is something that many people have, but a large mass of the public doesn't? How much, what should you do about that? What is a good day to get the product out there besides on social media? So I guess like for a day. So he's with Santa Fe Water Services. So they sell water purifiers and they do, a great job for what they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's not a necessity. but a lot of people have it, and it makes a difference, especially in our part of town.
Then why not make it a necessity? So when you're in sales and you're trying to market something, there are tension points. A lot of the times when people are moving from, oh, this is really cool, to, okay, I need to create a need and a demand and an urgency for this product, they need to kind of create the tension points for that product. So you need to have tension points on your client side, and you need to have tension points on your product side.
Yeah.
Kind of the pull on both sides. So think of like a rubber band. So when you pull on both sides, right, it kind of goes flat, and it's a straight line, and it's really easy. And you can even shoot it off if you need to, right? Yeah, I mean, we were all young. We all had that. We all played with the rubber band, shot them off as guns. But if you have tension points in too many points, you can't shoot it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have tension points in like 4 and you're pulling it apart, then it's not going to go anywhere. The second that you kind of let go of those points, it just forms right back in there.
Yeah, go back and fall.
So, and then if you have too many, it just makes a circle. You want to have tension points on your client side, and what makes this a demand, what makes this a necessity, what puts some urgency on getting this product in your hands immediately, and then finding that out, and then just marketing that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to do it online, find some physical places to go do it, or go to physical places, see if you can do a Facebook Live of people using your product. Like, that's one of the things that I do for my cake business is I get people to send in video testimonies of them tasting my cakes and their first initial reaction for it. And that boosts sales like no other, because they're seeing other people use it. You need to create a marketing strategy where people can see your products getting used, and the joy or the excitement that they have for it, or the impact that it's creating on their lives.
Okay, so I'm going to throw this out there.
Yeah.
This is, you can use this if you'd like. I've had your cakes before, and they're so good. Anytime you want to drop by a cake, you're welcome to like take a little video, and I'll be like, and it'll be my genuine, reaction, and we'll blast it out.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So, Chris also mentioned he's with that same business that you were kind of talking on. Hey, how do you make this a necessity, right? So they do a lot of memes, and they're mostly like water related, but they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Because new memes come out.
Yeah.
But it's like, they do serious posts, and then also kind of joking around.
You have to. If you're doing just serious posts, nobody's going to follow you.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that right now. I've seen, especially like in the world of network marketing, people will make sales posts after sales posts after sales posts after sales posts, trying to either recruit or sell their products. And it just gets boring. People will hit the unfollow button. They'll unsubscribe.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, you don't offer me any value other than trying to get me to give you money.
Yeah. Axe Masters, who Robin, she's watching. She owns Axe Masters in League City. It's an axe throwing arena.
Yeah. No,
they do the same
love
too.
It. That's awesome.
They'll do some like funny things.
Yeah.
And then Sammy Grace Fitness, who she's actually in Hawaii right now. Her and her fiance are going to be tying the knot. I think maybe even today. But her social media, it's hilarious. Like, and a lot of it's poking fun at fitness.
Yeah.
Like the memes. Some of them are serious posts and, like testimonials. And then it's like the memes and funny.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to
pizza
have a healthy
stuff.
amount of both.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a healthy amount of both and you just have funny, then nobody takes you serious. But if you're too serious, then nobody enjoys your stuff and they won't stick around. So it's a healthy amount of both, absolutely. I think if you wanted to kind of put a ratio on it, and don't quote me on this, I'd do like 3 engaging, funny posts. If you
I'm
want
quoting
to be
you on this.
comedy, right? And then doing is like a 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
3 engaging and fun posts, and then 1 serious kind of post where either you're giving a testimony or you're talking about a product, or you're talking about a promotion.
Yeah,
So,
I think at times people look at the like production quality. Like I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, I can't. Just go, all I have is my phone. And
that's
I'm like,
perfect. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's you don't need much, right?
No. I know YouTubers who got their start and have built up millions of followers from filming on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
I even know YouTubers that or content creators who only use their phone. Like, it's right there. It's available. And with the camera qualities that we have today, like, it's very easy to use, and it's good quality to use. There's a couple of tricks that you can do to make it better, especially like when it comes to lighting or sound, but your phone is perfect. You don't need too much more, because that also shows people too its authenticity within your marketing versus being like, oh, I can't market anything until I have $100,000 camera or a $20,000 camera or even a $10,000, $5,000, $2,000 camera, right? Start with your phone. People want to get to know you. They don't want to get to know your equipment.
Yeah, I will
They don't care
say
about your equipment.
that there is something different, and I've seen this from motivational speakers.
Yeah.
I've noticed it even on video I created. There's something about like you said, the authenticity of holding up your phone and you're videoing it yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And there's room for produced videos. We put out a ton of produced videos.
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
But there's something about just holding up your phone like this and just like saying, "Hey, what's up?" and just being sincere. Like, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know about something that you need to know about. You have to know about this, or a product.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's different than hey, the landscape. You turn the phone sideways, it means something different. You throw graphics on there, it means something different. So there's room for both, in my opinion.
Absolutely, there's room for both, especially if somebody's just starting out and they don't have the budget to be able to go get those professional videos done, or they don't have the capability to do them themselves. Start with your phone. So start with those live videos and start creating rapport and start creating that audience, and then move up from there. So.
Okay.
You should be worried about creating impact, not looking flashy.
Okay. So get started where you're at.
Yeah.
And then you can learn more as you go.
Oh, you better be learning more as you go. If you're staying stagnant from where you started and you haven't grown at all, there's an issue. You need to be
business
growing.
Isn't going to be good.
No.
Right now it's 9:46. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this video out. If you have any questions, now is the time. Today is the day.
Today is the day
to ask these questions. We have about 10 minutes left, and then we're going to be wrapping up with Colton. But if you'd like to see Colton come back in, maybe regularly, let me know. I see this comment. This is again from Chris. He said, "This has to be one of the best shows KHEA has had, besides the one where Anthony and Chris were on," talking about himself. LOL, some very helpful information. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I don't know. I feel like
being
able to help some people.
Make sure, too, if you're watching this on the live squad, you put #live squad, and you're watching on the replay to put #replay squad. So, it's a fun way to engage with people. I loved seeing the #live squad and #replay squad.
There was a bunch. I just put squad. I'm both.
Squad.
I'm going to go back and watch this. Watch this later. So, I'm going to do the replay squad as well. So, hey, let us know if you have any questions. Again, we're talking to Colton Trout. Colton, how can somebody sign up and look at your program and see what kind of things that you offer, as well?
Yeah. So I have a free community that you can join a part of that's called Today's the Day to Double Your Business. You can either look that up on Facebook, or you can go over to my personal Facebook page, and in the links in my About, there's actually a link to go get connected to that. But the best way, honestly, is to register for a free 30-minute coaching call where we get to sit down one-on-one and I get to answer some of your questions and give you a little bit of coaching. And then we get to talk a little bit about the products and services if it's a right fit. If it's not a right fit and you just need a free 30-minute coaching call, then boom, let's hop on a free 30-minute coaching call, which you can once again go to my page, go to my info and About. I've got a Calendly up there so you can take a look at my schedule and book a time that works perfectly for you. And do all that through my Facebook page.
Is that realistic, doubling your business? And in what kind of time frame are we looking at?
So to some people, they would say I'm insane. Other people get extremely excited. My specialty is actually helping businesses double in 90 days.
Okay.
So, it depends, once again, on the business. If you haven't reached 6 figures yet, doubling in 90 days, you'll probably double it sooner. If you've reached over 6 figures, doubling in 90 days is pretty realistic. If you're in the $1 million mark, it depends on what industry you're in, but once again, it's still a doable kind of process.
Okay.
So, and we're focused more on yes, absolutely doubling your business in those 90 days, but also laying the structure and the foundation for you to be able to do it again and again and again. I don't want it to be just like a hype session for 90 days. Oh, okay, you go create all of this business and you have no way to actually structurally complete or continuously handle that kind of business.
Okay.
So because if you're not used to doing over 6 figures and you're at the $50,000 to $100,000 mark, you don't know how to run a $200,000 business. So we need to lay those structures and those foundations to be able to go do that. So when you are running a $200,000 business, it's ease. It's just easy to go do it. So and then you can do it again and again.
Yeah.
And keep doubling and doubling.
To double though, I mean, in 90 days, is that what you said?
Yes. Yep.
Do you have to be obsessed?
No, not necessarily, because we have lives, we have families, we have fun that we want to do. There's definitely a level of commitment because that's my expert level program for people to come in and for me to help them double their business in 90 days. It's a lot of dedication and commitment on my end to helping you do so. So I ask for the same level of commitment as when you're working and when we're working together for that 90-day run. You are very serious about doubling your business and creating that income. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So here's a question. If we can get a link in there, but I think you mentioned if you search the hashtag, your stuff will pop up, or just your name, Colton Trout, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Look up Colton Trout. You'll probably be able to find me anywhere. I've made a few comments on here as well. So if you want to go find one of those and just tap on my name, you can either hit that follow button, send me a friend request, or get connected to those groups or book a call.
Okay.
So, and I can, if you want me to, I can also post a link in the comment section.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And then this is another question. Do you coach people that are planning on opening a business, so they don't have a business yet?
Yes.
And I bet you can, I guarantee you can double that.
Yeah.
That income.
Yeah, I can do it.
Let's go.
I can do it in one day.
One sale.
Boom.
One now.
Yep. No. So I've worked with a lot of people that want to start a business, grow a business. And so I have a couple different programs for that as well, because my expert level program, you do have to be making anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 in income to be a part of that expert level. For the people that are just starting out or wanting to make an extra $1,000 or just have a side gig, we absolutely have an option for that. So go book a call with me. I'd love to chat with you more about that, about you and your specific.
Yeah. And I think that on your part, that's, an ethical obligation on yours. It's like, well, hey, you're opening a business.
Yeah.
This isn't for you. Yeah, you could pay and maybe sign up and I can give you the information, but you wouldn't be able to use it in a way that you're ready for.
Exactly. So one of the things that I like to do with my program, because I have 3 levels to my program, is I like to move people up to it. If my coaching is effective and is moving people through those different levels, then I know that I'm doing my job well. If nobody's moving throughout those levels, I know I'm not doing my job well. Now, I've done my job very well, and people are consistently moving up and down through that, through those levels once they get what they need. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. We got probably about five or 6 minutes left. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Maybe something that we didn't touch on? How can someone find your podcast?
Yeah. So if you go to any podcast platform and look up Colton Trout, I'm the only one that pops up other than a few other podcasts I've been interviewed on. So, yeah.
I'm going to have to do that so ours pops up. When people go,
see,
I'm going to start hashtagging everything. Today's the day to live free.
Yep.
And then
hashtag
Colton Trout. Yeah, so people, a couple people asked for the link, and Robin, he will go and be able to drop those links in there so you can access everything.
Yeah. And if you want me to DM you, put a hashtag me in the comment section, and I'll send you a directed DM with those links so we can connect either for a call or for the Facebook pages.
All right, I just did it.
Yeah. Put a hashtag me if you want me to DM you and let's start a conversation. Or my DMs are always open as well, so you can feel free to send me a friend request and start a conversation. So,
all right, cool. Yeah. So how's your business going, like your personal business? You've been busy. We talked a little bit about this before. And you have the success in multiple businesses to back up everything you're saying because it's worked for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going really good. It's really kind of funny. I wake up, and it was funny. This Sunday, I was working on a project. Hadn't reached out to anybody in the as far as like bringing clients on acquisition wise that weekend. And I got a random text from somebody and was like, "Hey, I want to sign up for your program. How do I get connected? Can I sign up on Monday?" And I'm like just sitting there, and I'm like, I mean, okay, like I'm drinking some coffee. I'll drink coffee and make money all day long. So I actually made a post about it. I was like, somebody wants to give me money again. I'm okay with this. So business is going really, really well.
Yeah, and you make cakes. You bake.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's one of the businesses that I own. I got an order for 500 cakes, which is the biggest order that I've ever had. So I'm loving it, but I'm baking a lot right now.
Whenever you said yes, did you know like you're prepared?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I knew the time commitment that I was gonna have. I knew the time frame that they needed it on, and it was completely doable.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a ton of fun because, like we were talking about marketing and make it fun. I get to have a lot of fun with this marketing.
Yeah. So what's the biggest order that you would comfortably be able to take if someone's like, I need 500.
Yeah.
You know, I need 1,000. I need 1,500. Someone came up to you and was like,
Yeah.
well, I need 1,000. You know, these cakes.
Yeah,
Would you be
yeah.
like yes or?
Yeah, so
Let me think about it.
Yeah, so it depends on the time frame because I can do any amount. One of the cool things is my cakes actually have a guaranteed shelf life of 6 months because of the type of cakes that they are and the way that I package them.
Nice.
So if I have a month or 2 months in advance, I can start baking right away and stockpiling for that event versus having to bake everything the week of to make sure that they're fresh.
Okay.
So my cakes stay fresh.
Well, that's awesome. So yeah, you can knock it out.
Yeah, I can knock it out. So, but once again, it depends on the time frame. If you come to me and you're like, "Hey, I need 1,000 cakes in a week," you're going to be paying a pretty penny for it, but I can do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have help or do you just do it yourself?
Yeah, I've got a couple people that when I have those bigger orders that they come in and help.
You
So,
get the call.
yeah.
500.
Like,
Let's
hey,
go.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
Yeah. So.
All right. So again, Colton, thank you for hanging out.
Yeah.
And if there's anything else you'd like to share, you can do so.
Yeah. I mean, I'll make sure to post those links in the Facebook comments and everything. But the last thing that I would really love to kind of leave people with is go take some action today. You know, yesterday's already gone, tomorrow's in the future, and technically we never actually reach tomorrow. Today is just a never-ending cycle. So what are you doing today to go grow your business, to reach your goals, to crush your goals, to reach your market? You have a product or a service that is meant to reach and impact somebody. So what are you doing to actively go out and to reach them? So that'd kind of be the last question I'd like to leave.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colton.
Sweet. Thank you.
All right. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Taking a break on the FM. We're going to do a switch. I think we're talking to some people from some United Way partners. Dude, thank you. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yes, looking forward to it.
If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in this stream because Colton will go back and he will be able to answer any questions that you have. He will also link or message anybody who requested that. So thank you, Colton, for making some time today. Today's the day to live free. I love the message. I love everything that is sharing. So let me make a text message real quick. And let me see. So let me know, hey, what do you got going on today? What do you have going on today? Today I have, I always have help, and I love having you guys here. I feel like y'all are a big help to me, especially whenever it comes to asking appropriate questions and things that are that y'all want to hear. So, but today we have no Crystal here. Today we have no Ethan here, as Ethan is in school. He is in college, at College of the Mainland, getting an awesome education, and Crystal is in a meeting. So I am here hanging out. And our guests are here. They're about to be walking in, and then we're going to learn everything that they have going on. So, again, these are two friends of the United Way, and they, I think they saw Leslie recruited and said, hey, y'all need to come and share what y'all got going on. And I think that they work together, separate organizations, and there's an event coming up, and we're going to learn all about it. So I'm gonna learn about it as well with you guys. So how are y'all doing today?
Well, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Mary Beth Trevino, and I am here as a guest of Leslie. And I am here with my very good friend, Catherine Becker. And we've worked on lots of projects together. And our next project is going to be the fundraiser for the Ada House. And Catherine, do you want to speak to anything about the Ada House? You've been on their board of directors for some time.
The Ada House.
Yes, this event, the Angels Among Us, directly supports our mission for the Ada House, which is to help women with alcohol and drug addiction issues. And the event is coming up for October the 18th. It'll be held at the Hotel Galvez in one of the dining rooms, and it's from 11:30 to 1:30. And Mary Beth here is our honoree this year.
All right. So you're with Ada House. You're on the board.
I'm actually the co-chair and treasurer for the board, and I've volunteered off and on for the Ada House prior to being on that board for several years.
And
so,
I think you mentioned it, but can you share one more time the vision of Ada House? Like, who do y'all focus on?
we focus on women with the domestic violence and alcohol and drug abuse related issues.
Okay.
We help get them back vocational support. We help them get checking accounts. We help them do things that you wouldn't think they would need to return back into a fully functional
Yeah.
diverse society.
Right.
I think a lot of times people feel trapped,
Right.
in situations because you don't know like what's out there. Like, man, well, okay, and people can like use that to dangle it over your head. Like, what do? You don't have a job, or like, oh, you don't have a
Right.
check account, you don't
Right,
have money,
right.
and that's not right.
Right.
If there's a bad situation and you shouldn't be there, it's dangerous, or for whatever reason, you just get out.
And that's exactly what we're there for, to help stabilize and to give them the support they need to make it on their own and to live independently.
Okay,
And it's been around a long time.
Right.
They've done very well with their mission, and I'm honored that they chose me to be this year's angel. And if you have an interest in attending, you can still go to the Ada House Facebook page or their website and use the link to the Eventbrite link, and it will get you registered to attend. So we would love to see as many people there to support what we do as possible.
Yes.
It's a worthy mission, and we're honored to be able to be on your program and to promote this. So thank you.
Okay, yeah. So Mary Beth Trevino, do you go by Mary Beth?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
And what does that mean for you to be? You said the angel.
Well, I think that each year they pick somebody from the community who does work out in the community to honor them at this event. And I work in a lot of different capacities in our Galveston community. I grew up in Galveston County, went away for 30 years, and the night before Hurricane Rita, I flew in to see my niece play in a soccer game. At the time, she played for the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, ooh la la, for those who know. And she was playing University of Houston, but we did not go to the soccer game. We evacuated.
Was that 2008, or when was Rita?
Rita, I believe, might have been 2006.
6? Okay.
So then I ended up staying and going back to school and getting a master's degree from Texas A&M and starting to work on hurricane recovery projects and resiliency. And it's through the resiliency that really ties in recovery and resiliency both to our project with Ada House, because we're trying to help the women recover and to give them the tools to be resilient to what happens in their lifetimes in our community. That doesn't just affect one person, it affects entire communities. And my most recent project right now has been trying to help people who have experienced the high water from Tropical Storm Imelda. So it all ties together, what we experience from the weather or what we experience in our own lives. If we have the tools that we need to navigate that area, those waters, we can all support each other. And the most wonderful thing about the United Way is that they bring together so many different partners. And together we are literally united to help our communities recover from these kinds of events and to be more resilient for the next one.
Yes, I agree. Let's see. We got a couple minutes, and we're gonna talk, and then we're gonna go on the FM as well. We're right now. We're streaming on Facebook. If you are watching, feel free to share. If you have any questions, maybe you want to go to the event. We're gonna be touching on that a couple times and sharing how you can get a ticket, how you can attend, and you can support this great cause.
My email address is k.becker, k.becker, BECKER, at adawomencenter.org. If they would like to attend, if they have questions about the event, or if they would like to make a donation, we take gifts for the silent auction, and we also we have one of the big live auctions for this year's event is a weekend in Galveston. We have a rental house that someone has donated on the East End Historical Home. We have a Sunday brunch at Hotel Galvez that's going to go with that, and we also have some Opera House passes, certificates. So it's a package, a weekend package.
That's awesome.
That we're going to have a live auction for. And if you look at the Ada Facebook website, you'll see a glass art piece of work. It's absolutely stunning. That's also going to be one of our live auction prizes. So if anyone wants to look into that,
okay,
check that out.
That sounds fun.
Another item that I saw today that I'm a big fan of was the sunflower painting.
Right.
One of our local artists did a beautiful sunflower and has donated that as well. There's usually some exceptional artwork offered at these auctions, local artists, and sometimes even more localized scenes, and it's fun.
Yeah.
If you've not been to the Hotel Galvez, that in itself is an experience. It's right there on the seawall. It's held in one of the most beautiful dining rooms there. The views are gorgeous, and lately we've been having quite a bit of blue water. It's fun to stand there and to get to see how pretty it is. So we invite you to come and join us.
All right. Okay. Mary Beth, I have to ask you, because you mentioned, I guess around 2006, Rita, you came down here, and then you ended up staying. You wanted to stay. What is it that made you, I guess, rearrange your life and say, hey, I want to make a difference whenever it comes to like hurricanes, whenever it comes to like disaster relief?
Okay, that's a long story, and I'm glad we have an hour. It goes all the way back to Hurricane Carla. I was a 6-year-old when we had to evacuate for Hurricane Carla from Texas City. I lived there at the time off of Moses Lake, and when we came back, we didn't have a home to live in. So I was very aware of what hurricanes can do to a family and to your own life. I watched as closely as I could as a child to see what might come up for me in my grown-up life, and it really wasn't. That is why I truly moved to Colorado. I wanted to be out of
Get away from it.
the hurricane zone. But then when Hurricane Katrina hit, and I was in Colorado watching what was going on to the Gulf Coast, to the people, and knowing that there would be better solutions than what we were providing at the time, it motivated me to go back to school and to get an education from Texas A&M Galveston in that subject. And I was studying it when Hurricane Ike hit. And I was immediately deployed out into the field after Ike to do the reconnaissance to see how many researchers we needed to get out there to start noting what happens, not just to the houses, not just to the land, but to the people. So I eventually became part of a team that was called the Hurricane Ike Project, the Hiker Project, and we went and we interviewed 1,000 people to find out how they survived the storm.
Galvestonians or Galveston County?
All around Galveston County. And then from there, they took that information and we followed these people for 5 years. It was a longitudinal study. And now we've got that information to compare to what we learned from hurricanes before and after. So then, as we all know, we had Hurricane Harvey. We've got information now that we can compare what happened with Harvey to what happened with Ike. And now we've got Tropical Storm Imelda, and we're starting to gather the data for that too. And it isn't just what happens to your home. When you go through things like that, when you go through them repeatedly, you truly suffer psychological damage. And so actually yesterday, through the United Way, through my role with the United Way that I'm very grateful to have, we did a training on psychological first aid. We had a number of people come from the Houston and Galveston area to get trained on how to help people respond to those kinds of disasters using psychological first aid. We partnered with AmeriCares. They brought their trainers in, and we've been able to partner with them on several other topics too, and we have upcoming trainings that they're going to come back and help us with. And one of them is psychological first aid specifically for children. We'll be doing that one in January because they want to fine-tune the program that they have already to show some of the things that they've just learned from having to deal with children who've been through multiple hurricanes now. So it's an evolving kind of science, and I'm grateful that I have the background to be able to help people understand the importance of learning these kinds of things.
Is that kind of study that y'all started at, around Ike, is that the first of that kind where y'all were kind of following these people for 5 years, and what are y'all
I'm not
doing?
quite sure if it is the first, but I think it is probably one of the first longitudinal studies that looked at the public health impacts, not just the damage from the storm. We've been studying storms. Obviously, Galveston was the site of one of probably is the worst United States hurricane that we know of. And so, yes, we've got a long history of being aware of and concerned about and preparing for and recovering from. The thing I want to really focus on, and it ties into the Ada House too, the mission of the Ada House, is that we still have to help people remember to have hope. Because you get so devastated, you lose so much, you lose your home, you lose your cars, you lose your jobs. We help them try to refocus on having a little bit of hope and try to bring that back into their lives. And that's a beautiful thing about Ada House. It really focuses on hope. Right. And that we want to encourage that in everybody and give people the skills to remember how to find that within themselves.
Okay, that's awesome.
And just going back to the Angels Among Us event and Mary Beth and why we nominated or voted for her to be our honoree this year. Something Mary Beth has left off is Mary Beth also works with the different institutions in Galveston, the different community, with what's called National Drug Facts Week in January. This is an event that is put on by NIDA, which is the National Institute of Drug and Alcohol Abuse, and Mary Beth was awarded this year as putting on one of the top programs. Will you tell us a little bit about that, Mary Beth?
Well, I'm more than happy to, because if it hadn't been for Catherine Becker right here on my left, when I first took this job with the Bay Area Council on Drugs and Alcohol as their community coalition coordinator, she came to me that first year and asked me what we were going to do for National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. And I didn't know about it until then. And so we immediately did a program that year. We kicked one off. And each year we would continue during National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week to go to a different school, do a different kind of event.
Take the driving simulators.
Yes, so there's this driving simulator that the kids can sit in, this very high-tech piece of equipment, and they get to have the experience of what it would be like to drive while they were inebriated or high on
Or they received a
marijuana.
text message.
Where is that at?
It's the Center for Addiction Research at UTMB actually has the two driver simulators that we use, and we take those with us, and we partner with them, and we take the simulators with us.
So this last year, though, when we had it in January, I got a phone call from the Public Information Officer, Brian Marquis, out of NIDA, asking if we would be willing to host their signature event. They'd never done one before. We did it. We partnered with the National Organization for Youth Safety, and they insist that everything be interactive, so that every one of our exhibits had to have a big activity, a physical activity. We had over 300 students attend, and we had 50 law enforcement officers attend, and we had public officials attend. It was an overwhelming success. We were greatly honored to have been selected out of the entire United States. We didn't even apply for it. They came to us and asked us to do it.
Wow, yeah.
It was really fun, too. And thank you, Catherine, because, yeah, that was a big, fun thing. And I do, and Catherine's right, I slide under the radar deliberately, trying to do a lot of different things. Project I'm working on right now, we're trying to get a public service announcement in Spanish out to the public, because a lot of the people that drown in Galveston are Spanish speakers. And Peter Davis, who is the head of the lifeguards in Galveston, approached me and asked me if I could help him figure out a way to fund that. So that's one of the projects I'm working on too right now.
So what would they need for that? Like, because you can record something like that here, you just need someone to speak Spanish.
Well,
to push it out.
So the part that we needed the most help with was that we identified the zip codes that these people that are drowning primarily live in, and then we also identified the way that they like to receive information, and it is a Facebook kind of page. And so this was going to be a dedicated push out to that population to try to warn them prior to the Easter holidays, which is the first time people start getting back in the water after summer. So there were a lot of things that tied into it. So we were just looking for funders to help us with that last $2,000 to get that done. Yeah,
well, that's a great thing. We've worked with a lot of the surrounding cities, and one of the things that the cities realize, or maybe they've been working on it, but I just realized it, saying to us, like, hey, we need to do this in Spanish. This is great, but let's see if we can change the Spanish. Like, yeah, we can do whatever. Yeah, if you need a video in Spanish, you need an audio clip in Spanish. Like, we actually just recorded, I think I recorded something on Sunday here, a message in English, and then had a gentleman do it in Spanish. So that way you can reach a whole different, there's so many different people that not everybody speaks English. So you need to get that message, especially safety messages.
Absolutely. And that is something that I find great joy myself in trying to help communicate those safety messages. When Tropical Storm Imelda blew in, I worked with another close friend, Hal Needham, who goes by Hurricane Hal. He is a gifted meteorologist, and he mainly works on storm surge issues. But we knew that that area was having a lot of trouble with people trying to get in to do the rescues. So one of the things we were trying to do was just get everybody communicating about what roads were open,
Yeah.
what roads were passable, how people could get in, how people could get out. Within 24 hours of launching that Facebook page, we had 1,200 people following us. So it's just being able to communicate messages and information and vetting your information to make sure it's accurate. So and again, that gives hope. If you know you can get out of a situation that's endangering you, or to provide help to those who are in danger, that gives everybody hope, and that's really what this is all about.
Mm-hmm. All right, so one more thing, because we're about to switch it on the FM. If you could we'll just move this mic a little bit closer. You can actually pull it out.
Okay.
Pull it out towards you, like straight up.
Like that?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Okay, so we're going to just switch on the FM and just chat about everything that we've kind of talked about and keep going. So here we go.
Okay.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it is 10:15 in the morning. It is Thursday morning. We had Colton Trout here in studio during the 9 o'clock hour. During this 10 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about our friends. They're friends of the United Way, and we're going to be learning about everything going on. So there's an event taking place with the Ada House. That's correct, right?
That is correct.
So what is the event and what is it benefiting?
The Ada House has their upcoming annual fundraiser. They have one a year. It's called Angels Among Us. And what we do is we pick one of a million people that help support the different coalitions in Galveston, the Galveston community all year. And this year, we've chosen Mary Beth Trevino, who works very closely with us on many of our events. The Angels Among Us is scheduled for October the 18th at the Hotel Galvez from 11:30 to 1:30. The event is a sit-down lunch. There is a silent auction. There are a couple events for a live auction. There is a presentation of Mary Beth, and of course she's going to give us a little spill about her involvement in the community at that time. And the former news anchor, Don Nelson, is actually going to MC the event this year. So if anyone is interested in tickets for that, they can check the Ada Facebook page, or they can email me directly at k.becker@adawomencenter.org, or they can call us at 409-771-6110, and we will help them get the tickets. They can also call if they'd like to make a donation to our event or a prize or silent auction gift.
All right. So, Mary Beth, out of everybody that could have been picked, it's you.
I was
How
chosen.
cool is that?
I think it's amazing. I'm deeply honored and humbled at the same time. I've always enjoyed working with Catherine. She's one of the most amazing people that I've ever been gifted or graced to get to work with. She comes always prepared, and she brings many resources to all the projects.
So how long have you been doing what you do? And if someone did ask you, what do you do? How do you normally answer that?
Okay, thank you for asking. What I try to do in all my different roles is I look at the community and see what the unmet needs in the community are. Mm-hmm. And then I know what the resources are, and I match the needs with the resources. So does that answer it for you?
It does.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that is good. So whenever it comes to the specific things that you've helped with the Ada House, how have you been a benefit to them? How's that worked?
Well, just last year, I also partner a lot with Texas A&M Galveston. That's my alma mater for my master's degree. And a student wanted to do a benefit to honor one of the siblings that he had that had suffered from an addiction issue. And so he organized a walk to donate the money that he earned for the walk to Ada House. And that's just one small example. Mm-hmm. But the privilege of getting to work with those young students over at Texas A&M Galveston, I'm always grateful for that.
Yeah. Where did you get that instilled in you to be able to do these kinds of things?
I was raised to believe that your life is important. What you do in your life, the most important part is to donate, to contribute to the well-being of others. It's just kind of in our family, we just live like that.
Yeah. Okay, so Catherine, can you mention your role again at the Ada House?
Right. I am actually on the board for the Ada House, the governing board. I serve as the treasurer and co-chair for the board for Ada. And I I help with the finances and oversight, but I do a lot of outreach for them as well. I have a long history of doing a lot of outreach here in Galveston. I've been associated with the Galveston Historical Foundation, with Ada, with Children's Center, and some others here. But my primary focus is Ada, and I too got involved because I totally believe in their mission, and I think that they are an organization that if me or one of my daughters was ever in, I would hope that Ada would be around to help them. So,
okay, how long have you been associated in working with Ada House?
probably a good 10 years. I've been helping Ada, and I started working with the Center for Addiction Research at UTMB in December of 2009, and I met Ellie Hanley through Dr. Cunningham, who was my boss at the time, and they partner. They do a lot together with the Center for Addiction Research. They do the research related side of the addiction, where Ada does the hands-on,
Helping.
support and help. So they pair up real well, and so that's how I got involved.
With that research, like, what does it show specifically for our area?
Actually, Ellie could probably tell you more, but Galveston County, the opioid crisis is real big throughout the nation, but Galveston County still has a significant number dealing with alcoholism and meth abuse in the Galveston County. So our studies, as much as they are pursuing the opioid crisis as a national, we're also looking at what's here in Galveston and how we can help our people and our folks.
Okay, I got you. And what can we do?
Well,
I have some tips.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mary Beth.
Okay, I'm going to back up just a little bit.
Okay.
So I got to meet Catherine when I first came on board with the Bay Area Council on Drugs and Alcohol, and we were going to work on a project together. She called me up January of 2010, and she had just gone to work December of 09. So she was fresh with Center for Addiction Research. I was fresh with the Bay Area Council on Drugs and Alcohol, and she introduced me to a program called the National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. We started rolling them out. We rolled them out one per year.
Yep.
And then last year, we were picked by the federal government, by the National Institute on Drug Abuse, to do their signature event, which that's the one we had the 300 students, the 50 law enforcement officers, the 50 educators all show up to do a half a day of fun educational activities that, here's the answer to your question. If we can reduce the age at which people take their first drink, we have a significant chance of eliminating alcoholism as one of our problems, because the age of first drink really will indicate the future behavior with a lot of addiction issues. But that brings up something else we're dealing with right now. We haven't talked about this at all. Juuling, electronic cigarettes. That's the big concern right now. We're getting a lot of calls about how we can help communities prepare to stop that epidemic that's coming to in front of us all the time.
We partner with the Bay Area Alliance for Youth and Families, and that's been their focus. And, the Clear Creek ISD, Friendswood ISD, school districts where they, will go in and raise funds to be able to spread awareness, to the kids, but also to the parents, because I guess it's been around for a while, but it's started to gain popularity, with the flavors and how easy it is, how small it is, accessible. So parents may not know what it is, but the kid it looks like a little, I think of a mechanical pencil, the lead, is carried in that little thing, and you can just walk it around. It looks like an empty plastic, USB drive or something. Where in some cases it may look like a USB drive. They hide them.
Deliberately.
Yeah.
The manufacturers deliberately made them so that they could be hidden. So that's one of the problems. Another hat I wear is the United Way agency. I'm wearing my shirt today. You can see it. Oh, you can't. It's radio. Haha. But anyway, I do.
They can see it on Facebook.
Hello.
I see it.
Yesterday, I did led one of their trainings, and it was on psychological first aid. AmeriCares came in and did a training for a group of people, and it was very successful, and it's something that we need to be focused on right now. Psychological first aid is something that needs to be done after a traumatic event, such as Tropical Storm Imelda just caused so many people to remember and to have PTSD from Harvey. I was in the bank and my teller was still shaking because she had to drive through the high water. And it triggers those original emotions from those kinds of events.
What'd you call it, psychological therapy?
Psychological first aid.
Psychological first aid.
Yes.
And what is that? Like, what does that classify as?
Well, it's just like first aid for your body, but
Right.
it's more first aid for somebody's emotional and psychological mental health status. It's more mental health based than physical health based.
Is that an immediate app? Because I think of first aid, like, oh, you got your first aid kit. Hey, I need a Band-Aid, but you have to put that immediately, and then you have the long-term care. Is that kind of the same idea?
It is the first steps of that care, and recognizing too that what you as a psychological first aid provider can do probably needs to be followed up by further care with a
Long-term.
trained professional.
Yeah. A lot of times I think people don't realize that there was trauma until later. Sitting down and talking to, your kids or your wife and be like, hey, how are you doing? My son was like, why is there so much rain? And he's 6 years old. And so I'm, like, we're okay in the house. You don't like, I try and keep it together. Even if I was more concerned about something, like, it's okay. We're going to be okay. Everything's good. So that way he doesn't have the weight of that on his shoulders as a 6-year-old.
Well done.
Yeah. But as, just trying to balance all that with family and kids and everything, it can be tricky.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. What should people do? If you do realize later down the road, man, it's raining and now I'm having flashbacks of what happened. What's the next step?
Well, if you're in the situation where it's raining, you need to make sure you have an exit strategy that's going to get you out of a possible unsafe place. And so many people on the coast and on many coastal areas, they are reluctant to leave and to
Right.
evacuate. And so, yeah, first thing, have an exit strategy and keep yourself safe. Just like you were trying to reassure your son that we're inside, we're safe. Well, people just have to make sure that they actually are safe. And then if they start to experience their own selves some sort of psychological PTSD, as soon as they can safely get themselves to some help, then they need to do that through a mental health first aid provider or
Wow.
a local mental health provider like NAMI. Yes.
Okay, how do you spell that?
NAMI. We also have the Gulf Coast Center. We also have Family Service Center. Family Service Center is one of the members of the United Way family and NAMI too, I believe. So they are partner agencies with the United Way, and it is the United Way that I want to highlight in this because
Right.
they're the ones who invited us here, and they have given me the opportunity to bring all these trainings to our community. And when we all get trained in these kinds of strategies that help us create stronger, more resilient communities, united, we truly are stronger, and that's their motto, united. We can't do it alone. I mean, and that's really true. And nothing points it out more than a tragedy, one of these tragic events. And change doesn't happen alone. And we can all help each other out if we get trained with these tools.
Yeah. Is it fair to say that there's still like a stigma when it comes to mental health? A lot of times, as I'll say as a guy, like, oh, you got to be strong. And, I can be strong and help, in that situation with my son, be like, it's okay. But there's still a bit of a like, man, you got to go get, you got to talk to somebody. Right. And what can we do to kind of break that barrier down or those thoughts down?
Thank you for asking. Actually, one of our next trainings is called Ending the Silence, and it's about breaking down stigmas, and it will be done by NAMI. That's going to be in October, on October 30th at the United Way training facility, and it's free and open to the public, and you can go to the United Way Galveston County mainland site, and you can link in and get signed up for any of these classes. We've got a whole series of classes that are coming up. We're going to be doing the psychological first aid for children. We're going to be doing, in December, we're doing difficult workplace situations. We just did provider burnout, which is,
What is
my
that?
goodness, so many people who do go out to help others, they do have a similar kind of burnout. So we just did that. Upcoming is the brain, body, and trauma, which is fascinating because it ties the brain science into it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we have all of these different trainings and classes available to the public if they would like to join us at that building, the Chris
Awesome.
Delisandri site in Texas City.
How cool is it the building's named after him? I didn't realize that. Like, I walked in there and then I saw like the plaque on the side. I'm like, Chris, look at this. This is awesome. You know, he's a great guy. Met with him yesterday again, and he's just doing a lot in the community, and has for years.
He has truly taken it on. He is an amazing man, and he helps us out in so many ways, and he helps out all of his partner agencies like they're his own children. He's very generous. He's dedicated. You're not going to meet anybody else like him.
Mm-hmm. Catherine, so can you remind us one more time about that event, when it is? I think you said the 18th?
ADA, it's the ADA, Angels Among Us. There is a specific Facebook page for that. If they look in there and look for the ADA, Angels Among Us, it is October the 18th from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. at the Hotel Galvez. And if they would like a ticket, or if they would like to make a donation, we take both, of course, any monetary donation, but anything like a silent auction donation. You know, if you have a restaurant and you want to make a donation of a dinner or something that we could use for the silent auction, all of the money all of the proceeds from this event go back to the Ada House. We have two facilities, one on the mainland and one in Galveston. The one in Galveston has 14 clients at any given time. The one on the mainland, I think the same. They are a supportive, safe recovery center for women that have been in addiction and that are overcoming and rebuilding their lives. So this is a great opportunity for you to help out.
How many people are y'all like taking care of? Like at a certain time, I'm sure it varies.
The house holds 14, and we usually have a waiting list. So you know, it's a residential. So they live there. They're essentially there for 14 days is the usual amount of time.
Yeah.
And they come in and we provide, relapse prevention, some of the things, nutrition, budgeting, and financial and planning. If they've had issues and they've lost their children, we have a caseworker that helps work with them, and CPS to help get their children back. We work with drug court, whatever the individual need is, to help ensure that these folks are stable and the resources that they need. That's what we're here for.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And can y'all get like a lot done, in that time?
You'd be amazed at how much we have the social workers, we have the caseworkers that take the client and just kind of as a need basis go through and assist them. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
And it's very successful.
Very successful.
A very high success rate.
That's awesome. How many people, do you have an estimation how many people have gone through this program over the years? Since you've been there in 10 years, if you had to guess, I guess you could figure it out, like if there's 14 at a time, but
hundreds. I would say
has to be hundreds of people.
Yes, it's hundreds. I'm actually here today on behalf of Ellie Hanley, who is the executive director. She is in Austin at another very important funding meeting, so she called on me to serve. So I don't have the exact number. I know she knows. I can tell her.
That's cool.
We
Okay.
could probably text her right now, and she would tell us, except she's in a meeting, and she probably
Hundreds.
can't text us.
Yeah, absolutely, though.
All right. So what other, I guess events like the Angel event that y'all are doing, do y'all have other things like that throughout the year?
This is our major one fundraiser, just due to the amount of time and effort and what it takes to put this together. They usually have the one. Now, I'll tell you, we have organizations reach out at any given time of the year. We had an organization last year, the quilting, the women that do the quilts. They donated quilts for every one of our clients, for each one of our women. They just absolutely love us. It was a wonderful, wonderful gift for them. We have organizations that call and want to donate meals.
Yeah.
So we do have other things. They're just not as organized as this.
Okay. Are there volunteer opportunities even for everyday people?
Well, actually, they're limited. Like in the office, we could always use some admin support because so much of the funding goes directly to patient. We don't spend as much for admin, and so she doesn't have the admin support. Ellie and I were actually filling out envelopes last night for the event coming up. So any admin, any type of that support, because it's a residential facility, we don't have as many people coming in to the actual facility for confidentiality, but we could always use a hand at the office.
I can tell you my first thing I ever did with Ada.
What is that?
I helped clean up the yard after
Yeah.
Hurricane Ike.
Right.
We were out there seeing what we could salvage, what was left of the vegetation, the landscaping, and basically there was nothing.
Nothing.
So
It was all
it was
toast, yeah.
clean it up and get rid of it and take care of it and start over.
Are y'all allowed to share? Do you know any offhand of any of like those success stories where people have come back and like, hey, I want to help, or I want to do an admin role, or hey,
We actually
thank you so much.
we have one. I'm not sure I could say her name.
Yeah.
But we have one that went through the facility, and she's actually came back, and she works a part-time relief night person to help when they need help there. So, and since she's had a successful been through the system, she does really well with the clients there. You know, she's someone that they can look at and say, this person, look how well she's doing now, and she's gone through the program and how long she stayed sober and clean. It's actual, you know, it's a very positive image for the rest of the folks there.
And I have a success story for the United Way. Do
All
you want
right.
to hear this one?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so there's a young man, his name I can't say, but I think I can because they actually put it out on their United Way
Yes.
brochure. It's Carl Ray,
Mm-hmm.
and he had shown up at, do you know this story already?
I do a little bit.
So if you guys are listening to this for the first time, you get to hear about Carl Ray because it is a fabulous success
I filmed it.
story.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so jump in anytime you want. But today,
So Carl Ray. Okay.
yeah, today is a graduation for more of that kind of student where they offer this service to their floor program, where they find people who want to be trained in life skills so that they can be successful and not rely on others. And that's the beauty of the United Way, is that they can be there. People can come up to the front door and ask for help, and people know how to direct them to those services and get the help they need so that they can make their lives successful, healthy, happy. And Carl Ray is one of those perfect success stories for that.
Yeah, that's an awesome program that they do, and now he's right here at A&A Machining Fabrication in Lamarck, right off of 1765. And shout out to Mr. Alan Hutchins. He's just a great asset to our community, and I feel like, you know, Carl Ray over there working and employed. Hey, that's what's up. And now he can support his family, and you know, has a future and a plan.
You know, the United Way, back in the late 90s, a term that they used quite a bit in Galveston County was continuum of care. And that is essentially what United Way offers. It's a full continuum of what you need to ensure you get the resources that are available there.
Yeah, and there's all the different agencies, like if you need this is the people you talk
Right.
to.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
If you need this, like, okay, maybe you need both of these services, and that's okay. Or you like grow out of this one, you don't need it anymore, and you can, you know,
Absolutely.
move into this one. So it's really amazing to be able to offer that. And a lot of people know about the United Way, and you hear the name, but they may not know if it's for them.
Right.
Exactly. Somebody came in yesterday, a woman and her son, and their project right now is raising awareness on, oh golly, what does this young man have? Epilepsy. And so a law was just passed that now educators are going to have to be trained to recognize the symptoms of epilepsy and have a plan of how to deal with it. That just passed in the latest legislature. And this family, the mom and son, came in yesterday because someone had suggested that United Way might be able to help them and find a place with our partner agencies that they too could become one of our partner agencies. So that was really interesting. I got to witness it firsthand. I was there when they came in, and these people are very passionate about helping do the outreach and the education for epilepsy. It was very moving.
And I believe, and you'll be able to know more about this, but I think anybody can apply to be a partner agency one time a year. Is that accurate?
I'm not tuned into the funding component of it, but you can look at the United Way website, and it's very well done, and they're working on it all the time. And just check and see what it'll give you the tools and the hints you need to be able to answer that question.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can apply to be a partner agency one time a year. They open it up. Even if you are currently a partner agency, you got to reapply next year, and you have to show everything.
Right.
And there's a lot of stuff that's required because the United Way is very specific about the dollars that they have, and they want to know where it's going to go, and it's going to be used for what it's going to be used for. So it's a bit of a process, but at the end of the day, it makes sure that if I'm going to support the United Way, then I know it's being used in the appropriate manner.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take a quick break on the FM right now. It is 10:38. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. All right, so we're still on Facebook Live, but just off the FM.
Okay.
So
Where would you like to go with our chat now?
it's wherever it's going to go. I don't know.
Any more questions?
Not off the top of my head. Well, y'all got do y'all got to go?
No, I'd be happy to tell you some of the stories that I heard from her tropical storm Imelda.
Sure, yeah.
That was again, communities coming together, recognizing that there were desperate needs for water, for food, for shelter, and that's what we always have to address, those needs at first. And because of what I mentioned earlier, that we'd put together that Facebook page to help people communicate with each other, there were a lot of success stories. You can look at that page and see, how many meals were served and how many bottles of fresh water were delivered, and how people were able to know what roads were safe to travel and what roads to avoid because of very high water. So, again, it just shows how much communication can be used as the most effective tool of creating a healthier community.
I thought technology helped quite a bit with Harvey as well. When they were doing the saving with the water rescue and whatnot, and you'd see the Facebook post that they needed someone here, and I just thought that was amazing how much technology has helped improve.
Yeah, even in for Imelda in East Texas, there were phone numbers of people. You hear about the Cajun Navy and just normal people that are going out there. Hey, I got a boat and I can make a difference. I can access it. Call me. And there was a whole list of numbers if you have a family member in the area. It's crazy to see that, like, posts that I would see on social media. I need help. My family needs help.
Yeah,
and you saw that all during Harvey, and then you saw it during Imelda for people like, hey, my family's out there. They're stuck. Who can help them?
They're on the rough, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yeah. One of the things that we've learned over the years following these storms and the damage that they do, the long-term damage, is that people aren't prepared to lose power for as many days as they lose power. So people who need medical kinds of equipment, like number one from Ike, it shows up way late in the data that people who couldn't get the dialysis that they needed, they were some of the people that died because they couldn't get access to dialysis. And anybody who needs help with an electronically controlled medical device needs to think that through way ahead of time, because it isn't just the storm when you lose power. For weeks you can be without power after that.
And that's one of the things you mentioned earlier, is to have a plan, be prepared. Right now, just the nature of where we live, it's the season, and you always have to be somewhat of a plan, somewhat prepared. Hey, if they're saying it's, do we go? Where are we going to go? Or if we're going to stay, maybe we can't. Do we have the supplies we need? What do we do if we don't have power? What if we do if the water is tainted, or what do we do?
Absolutely. One of the things we also learned, and this was after Harvey, so many of the people who had to be rescued, airlifted out, when they got into the vehicle or whatever that they were going to be rescued in, they put their cell phone down and they left it. We had over 700 cell phones that got separated from their owners, and so many people, they don't know phone numbers anymore. So if they lose their phone number, they don't even know who to call to tell them they're okay. So you need to have a handwritten paper
list of
numbers available to you. One of the things that was mentioned in the psychological first aid training yesterday was for children to be able to have a list of numbers in their backpack, so that if something happens to them while they're at school and they can't get reunited with a family member, at least we know that you're supposed to call Aunt Janie and the phone number for Aunt Janie or whatever, so that the child can feel like they at least have the tools and that they know what they're supposed to do, and that family members need to go over those in a non-threatening way with their students, so that they feel comfortable and they feel prepared for things.
Yeah, not in a worrisome way. For my son, I tried teaching him our address at a very early age. I need to check and make sure, but I'd make it into a song. How it goes, so that way he would hopefully remember. And then last year at school, they went over phone numbers. Hey, what's your parents' phone number? And your address. Kind of getting practice writing and getting them to know that. That's important. Because we don't think about it anymore. I remember memorizing my house phone number as a kid, because that's, if I had to call home, that's all I had to do. I
still remember mine from when I was a child.
Me too. From where I grew up.
Absolutely.
And now it's so much. I can ask Siri on my phone to call my wife, my dad, my mom, my friend, whoever, and they do it. And so, I'm guilty of that as well. So having those written down in case this device is dead, it can't charge, I need to call somebody. What do you do? That's a great point that I had not thought about.
And actually, we put that message out on the Tropical Storm Imelda page that if you did end up getting rescued, keep your cell phone in your hand when you exit that vehicle so that you know that you have it with you. Just try to train yourself. You had it when you walked on, then you either had to buckle up a seatbelt or you had to do something. You put your phone down to accomplish that, and then you left your phone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it would be. I think that a lot of people may find that refreshing. Like, oh man, like even if my cell phone's busted for a week, to actually, because we're so, well, at least I am, and I know a lot of people are. You're so connected, you know. It's like, what? It's like part of my body, you know. But just to be able to have you know, you need it so you can communicate. But it would be, I don't know, a potential like hot light in a terrible situation.
And it literally is. You remember people use their cell phones as flashlights. That happens all the time. And one of the first things that they say if you're expecting or anticipating a loss of power, a failure of power, charge every single electronic device you can like that. Because even if it's not hooked up to Wi-Fi, you can open it up and use it as a light. It can be a bright light.
Yeah.
So be resourceful. And just think outside of the box. Just because it's only meant for one thing doesn't mean it can't save you for something else.
That's true. That is true. You know, so we didn't ask where you were from. Are you originally from this area?
I am. I'm from Galveston here, and that's how I got involved with Ada and with UTMB. As I've worked here in the Galveston area for the last 20 years.
Okay, cool.
30 years.
Cool.
Actually.
So you being from this area, you've probably gone through, you know, I mean, most of these storms.
I did. I actually was across the street from the bowling alley during Hurricane Alicia when it tore the bowling alley in half.
Yes.
So
what year was Alicia?
Oh, was it 81?
I think, yes.
No.
82, 83.
83. I'm sorry. 83. It was 83. And we were across the street, and I remember my mother realizing that she made a mistake. We were children. And I remember my mom in the middle of the storm realizing that she made a mistake by keeping us.
Yeah.
Yes, and especially with small children. So for every other storm, we leave the minute they even announce, you know, there's something out there. The house is packed up and we're gone. And I have these Tupperware containers that I keep in my bedroom in the storage, and I just pull them out and put pictures and emergency insurance papers, anything I need in those 2 Tupperware bins, and put them in the trunk of my car, and we're gone. Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
That's the history with that.
And that's kind of, I mean, that's smart. You know, you have a plan.
Yeah.
Everybody's plan looks different, but just being prepared.
And ready to go. I have a younger daughter. She's 21, and I have taught her to keep some spare money while she lives in the island. Keep her, in the summer, keep your gas tank at least halfway full, if not all the way full, and keep a little spare cash in case something happens. You're not completely out of resources. If you have to get off the island, you have to have somewhere to stay for a couple days. Plan accordingly for that. So
Just put it in the Tupperware.
Put it in the Tupperware container. It
Have
works.
several $100s in there.
Well, truly, the thing about cash, and we learned it from
Right. They can't get.
the machines don't work. And so the cards that we're so dependent upon for everything, they can't work even at the store. And stores would stay open even though they didn't have the power so that they could make cash sales of water and stuff. So
But you're in Ike, the gas was gone.
Right.
I remember just there was no gas. You couldn't get fuel.
Right.
And it was a really eerie situation. It felt like a movie.
Right.
And but that can turn into reality. Not in a. I mean, it's the nature of where we are, and being prepared, having the plan, and taking action.
look how quickly Imelda blew in.
Yeah, that was like 10. I think. Yeah, I saw it on the news, and it was
3
here.
hours.
Yes, it was very fast, but there are fast-forming Gulf storms that have hit us before, and so hopefully we're going to just keep our fingers crossed for the rest of September.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So is there anything else you'd like to share while y'all are here? I know we can remind people one more time, but we will go back on the FM after this to remind them as well.
Okay.
But that event, October 18th, 11:30 to 1 o'clock.
At Hotel Galvez.
At the
Hotel
Hotel
Galvez.
Galvez. It's a beautiful, beautiful venue.
Yeah.
For those of us who had the privilege of being there many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All
Yes.
right. And you said, is there a Facebook event for the actual
Yes.
event as well?
Yes, it's Angels Among Us.
Are we a co-host of that?
It's the Center for Addiction Research co-hosts, UTMB Center for Addiction Research co-hosts with that with Ada to help cover the majority of the cost.
I was just going to say, because on social media, on Facebook, you can send co-host invites.
Great.
And if you sent one to KHEA Radio, we'd accept it. And so what that does, it puts it on our community calendar.
Wonderful.
And it also blasts it out to our people who follow us on there.
We will definitely do that.
So, yeah, if you just send an invite, it'll pop up a notification. We'll accept it, and it kind of does that.
Okay.
So that'd
great.
be cool. We like, anything positive, anything like what y'all are doing that's going on, we want to definitely spotlight and get it out to as many people as possible.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
That makes me very happy. Thank you.
I see Leslie and Angelica, they were watching. I'm not sure. I know they're working.
Yes.
Maybe it's on in the background.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Thank you for giving us good directions to get here.
Oh yeah,
too.
and the parking too.
Oh yeah.
What did they say?
They had there's a little map, and they have the whole church in the driveway, and there's a little arrow.
Did they
Park
draw
here.
a map?
Well,
I need a copy of this. So
I'm
Yeah.
not sure it's a map,
both
but it's
very
the whole,
good,
It was
yeah.
a really good.
Leslie took like a photograph of it, and yeah, she was
It's like an aerial.
Yeah,
And it
she's
shows you
very
where
good.
you pull in, and
Yeah.
there's a little arrow. Park here.
Go in here.
So that's what Leslie, send that to me. I need a copy because here's what I tell people. And there's okay. So when you get here, we're 601 Delaney Road. We're inside the campus of Abundant Life. Church has been here for like 35 years. Some people have seen it. Maybe they haven't been in, maybe they have. So, okay, don't use the front door. It's going to be a side entrance with an awning, and there's a sign by it that says valet. It's the north side of the building. And so, but I don't have a map. That's usually what I say.
No, she's got a picture.
She has a great picture. Leslie, you're going to have to share it with him. And then I did go back out there, and I stood there, and I said, and look for the sign valet parking,
Right.
and look for the parking lot that has cars parked
Right.
in it.
Yeah, because most everybody parks over here or over there. And, yeah, the other side – most of these doors stay locked,
Right.
but during business hours, there's only one door that's unlocked. Security and just whatever reasons, because that's where our office is. So, you come in, and then Miss Joanne's awesome. She'll be able to lead you.
Yes, she
I need to talk
greeted
to
us
this
right
person.
away. But Leslie's awesome, too, because she always takes care of everything. If anybody needs anything who walks in the door at the United Way, Leslie's always there to answer. She's amazing. So
She is.
a shout out to Les.
And Angelica, she's been there for like 2 months. I think I talked to her yesterday, and I was like, how long have you been? She's like 2 months. And she said that, well, I came on in the busy season. I was like, I'm going to tell you something.
It's always a busy season.
Yeah, I think they just told you that. Because then I was like, well, what do y'all got going on, and this? And then just look at all their events, and we've kind of ran through a year, of doing some cool stuff with them and just learning about everything that they do. I was like, I think it's going to be always a constant busy season. So, but yeah, no, October is nuts. Like, to be fair, like this time coming up, and then with the holiday, Christmas, and Thanksgiving and everything else, there's a lot, not just like positive nonprofit stuff, but just like fun and family and stuff, and combine them. That's what I say.
It's a very busy season for the federal funding as well. It's the beginning of the funding season, so
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
Yeah, so if they're
October.
supported by which all of us are,
Yes.
it's a big time of the year for that as well.
So next year, I believe, is the census. Does that affect, with all the research that's going on, and I don't know, does that affect, I know it affects funding for different stuff, but like I'm looking at the drugs and counseling and research and some of the stuff you're involved with as well.
Well,
I think most of the funding like that ADA gets is based on historical, how many, clientele they've had,
Yeah.
and what they project or their ability capacity at the current time.
I got
but
you.
you're right. The information from the data is used for so many grant applications. We use the demographic data, the population data, everything that we have available to us when we're trying to write for grants, and that can be sourced from the census. So participating in the census is a very important thing, a
Yeah.
civic duty.
So, we talk about Facebook, and it's a great tool, but there's a Facebook group for my neighborhood, and a lot of neighborhoods have them.
Yes.
But there was a gentleman going, I guess, door to door doing some census work. And
he wasn't really a census guy.
well, they said
I've heard about that.
They said that he was, but it's like I don't know, but he was only asking 2 questions. But the census doesn't officially start till like April of next year, I believe.
Wow.
And it's cool. It's going to provide some, some jobs and opportunity, and it's
Right.
just interesting. And so I don't know. That's something people are like kind of wary of, especially
Leery.
nobody likes someone coming up to the door, maybe selling something.
Right.
And so he was like, I think the question was, is your address correct?
Oh.
Your 10 1002, is your address. Is your address correct? And do you have any extra dwelling area that added on or something weird like that?
Oh.
And so people were just like, you see case in houses.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
always, everybody goes to the worst case scenario.
Right.
But he had appropriate badges and people talked to him. And
So it's pre-work. Pre-work to establish.
I think so. That's what he was saying.
That makes sense.
But one of the Leak City councilmen lives in the neighborhood too. And he was like, it's pretty legit, and this is why. So that was pretty nice. But it doesn't hurt to ask and clarify, get some clarification. So we got 10 seconds. We'll go on the FM, remind everybody about the event coming on, and if there's anything else y'all would like to share.
Okay.
Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's 10:54 on a Thursday morning. We're talking to Catherine Becker. We got Mary Beth here in studio as well. Mary Beth Trevino. We're learning about everything going on with this Ada House event. It's taking place in a couple weeks, I guess. So what is going on?
Right. We have the Ada Angels Among Us. It's our annual fundraiser. It's scheduled for October the 18th at 11:30 at the Hotel Galvez. The event is a sit-down lunch, and we have a silent auction and a live auction. And Mary Beth Trevino here is our honoree this year based on the amount of work and all of the help that she is for the community. She's our honoree angel this year.
All right. And do you have an acceptance speech? Is there going to be a speech? Like, what happens?
Well, I'm supposed to limit it to 10 minutes, and I think you can tell that that's going to be really hard for me because once you let me start talking, it's hard to get me to stop talking. But I want to just say that, yes, we're inviting everybody to come out to join us for this. It would be a wonderful luncheon in a beautiful venue, and some of the items for the silent auction and for the table auction items are gorgeous. That piece of artwork that you can go to the website or to the Facebook page for the luncheon, you can see that glass artwork that I believe is an octopus.
It is. It's
cool.
It's octopus or it's one's interpretation. The first time I saw it, I thought it was a jellyfish, but it could be an octopus. I think it's a jellyfish. It's gorgeous. It's glass art. And it's going to be one of the big live auction prizes. And then also the big event for the live auction there is a weekend for two in a beautiful weekender home on the East End in Galveston. That's going to include some gift certificate seats at a show for the Opera House, and also followed up with a Sunday morning brunch at the Hotel Galvez for two. And if you've ever had an opportunity to be at the Hotel Galvez on a Sunday morning, it's quite a
It's
brunch.
spectacular.
It's
It's delicious. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the setting is incredible. But the house that's going to be provided on the East End, the Historic District, is a lovely part of Galveston to visit. And then the Opera House, the Historic Opera House, just the history there is fascinating as well.
Yeah, whenever I plan things, I kind of plan it around food. And
Right.
so, like, you had me at brunch. You had me at brunch there at the Galvez in Galveston, which is awesome. Galveston is such a beautiful place with so much history.
Right.
And I think a lot of the times we're kind of spoiled and don't take advantage of what it has to offer.
Really.
And this is an opportunity where you can support a great cause and then also
Have
take
a good
advantage
time.
of what it offers.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'll be fun. So, yeah, make sure that you go check out our Facebook stream, because we have a link to that event. And then if y'all can also add us as a co-host on Facebook,
We will.
we'll make sure we get that blasted out in our community calendar, and you'll be able to find all about that the information that you need to attend that. Again, this is KHEA Radio. Right now it's 10:57, and we are talking about the Ada House with Mary Beth Trevino. We also got Catherine Becker. Thank you for joining us. Is there anything else y'all would like to share while y'all are here today?
It's been a pleasure. You're a great host.
And thank the
I
United
loved
Way
it.
for including us. in this.
Definitely.
Of course.
Yeah.
A huge shout out to the United Way, because we would not be here without them. They shared this opportunity with us. They share so many opportunities with the entire community, and truly our whole community is stronger because of the hard work that they all do there.
Yes, thank you to the United Way. Y'all are awesome. And don't forget, we're teaming up with United Way for our Talk of Taco event. So if you go to talkoftaco.com, it goes to an Eventbrite link. You'll be able to sign up if you want to sponsor, if you want a cook-off team. I think the thing that people don't realize, and that's my fault, is that it's free to attend. It's free to attend, but you can also enter to be a cook-off team, which has a little bit of a cost, but then there's a prize.
Yeah.
There's
Okay,
a
for
lot
your
of
next
prizes.
one, though, I think I'm going to make a suggestion.
What is it?
You're going to have a contest to see who can eat the most tacos.
You know what? I love that idea.
Yeah,
I actually brought that idea up in the initial meeting.
yeah.
It got shot down. I won't say who shot it down, but I'll let you guess.
Okay,
Maybe
but I'm
off air.
I'm just gonna keep pushing for that all you can eat.
You know what? Maybe, okay, I'm just going to set it up. I'm going to have my own little booth. And they're like, oh, what are you doing? We really need your help. And I'm like, shh. And I'm like hosting the competition with the sign up. And I have all the tacos. No, I love it. You know,
Yes.
that's the thing. Like with it being the first year, we are excited what this has the potential to turn into.
Right.
And there's so much that can be added on in the future. So
Right. I mean, think about a clock
much
and how it
fun.
goes tick tock. Well, this one will go tick taco, tick taco.
okay, now we need a taco clocko vendor.
Woo! Taco clocko.
Tick taco. Yeah, tacos forever. So
It's taco time.
it is. That's funny.
I think it's time for us to quit tacoing.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's 11 o'clock on a Thursday morning. Be blessed. Thank y'all for hanging out again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, and thanks to the United Way.
Bye, Facebook. Y'all be blessed too.